Spenser Hargrove,
What's up?
former UNCW manager, former Campbell basketball manager,
Yep,
former Cape Fear Community College manager,
yep, yep.
former Roanoke Rapids High School dropout
Yep. No,
slash,
I mean, I finished. I finished.
slash golf standout,
Mm-hmm.
and now or future gas salesman, I should say. Correct? Salesman, is that?
Yeah, salesman. I guess you could call it that. Guess you could call it that.
All right.
Guess you
Well, Spence, hopefully this is the beginning of a beautiful journey. Hopefully we're going to be famous. I'm predicting a year from now, this is the #1 podcast on iTunes. But this is the pilot.
For that. Sign me up. Sign me up.
Sign me up. Well, Spence, what have you been up to lately, man? Tell the folks at home what you've been up to lately. You just left UNCW, sort of.
Yeah. So I walked out of Trask Coliseum for the last time as a manager. Man, about 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago. It was a bittersweet feeling. Uh, but it was it's good to start a new journey. It's definitely starting something I didn't see myself doing. But the last couple of weeks I've been hanging out with friends, playing golf, kind of just been enjoying the life, and got a job offer here a couple days ago, and so it's time to start the real world.
The real world.
Real
Spence,
world.
if I asked you in March what you were going to be doing next year, what would you have said?
I'd 100% said being a grad assistant somewhere, or working with a college basketball team in some way. And it's like I told actually the guy that offered me the job the other day. I said, if you would have told me 3 months ago or 4 months ago that I was going to be working for this company and not doing this, I would have been like, you're absolutely crazy, because I mean, me and you have talked this whole season about what was the future. And I mean, I always said the same thing, is to get started into coaching, something that I always told myself I would do. And it could still happen, but just for me, it was time to just take a break. And I've been around basketball, a team, I mean, for 5 years, and I never really got to enjoy. I wouldn't say enjoy, because I had a blast while doing the whole manager stuff, but I never got to like go to
Do your
football
own thing.
games. Yeah, go to football games at different colleges, which now I be able to do. And UNCW doesn't have a football team, so I didn't get to do that, because we would have workouts and all that, and I was perfectly fine with, because that was part of the job and the dedication to it and the commitment. But I mean, that was one of those things, you make those sacrifices to get a job. And I mean, all my references came from basketball, maybe except one or two, but most of mine were coaches from past schools that I worked at, or the UNCW staff. So I mean, just like stuff like that.
So what? Let's just call it like this, Spence. I mean, you just want to turn on those heels. You're just tired of living alone. You're
I
tired of.
didn't think about that. I thought about that actually today while I was on my lunch break. I said, you know what? I said, I can actually, for the first time in about 4 years, sit down and actually like be invested, except the national championship game and the Duke game this year, where I was like, actually, like, okay, I am in 100% invested in Carolina basketball again.
What about Carolina football?
Oh, absolutely. Carolina football. I mean, football is just different though. But hey,
We don't have a
Max,
football team, so it never really mattered.
yeah, yeah. So Max back. I mean, Carolina football is a rough year, but we're getting things back. Getting things back. It's gonna be a fun year. We'll see who's gonna be the quarterback. I don't know.
That's
I'm hoping it's Drake May. Drake May.
it's at
No,
the time of this recording, it's draft night. Ike Ekwonu just went 6 to the Panthers.
yeah,
Sam
yeah.
Sam Howell, where is Sam Howell going to be drafted now that we're talking about
I
football?
hope he's gonna be a Panther. I think that'll be a cool story from Charlotte. That's, you got to be thinking how cool that would be for him and his family. All his friends like wouldn't have to travel far to see him play. I think that's an awesome story.
Do you think he could give Sam Darnold a run for his money?
I think he's better suited for the NFL than the college game.
You know, that's the thing. I'm a little surprised he's not a bigger prospect than everybody's leading on right now. I mean, when you watch him in college, I was like, this dude can flat out sling the football. I mean, his touch is unbelievable, and he's a pretty good athlete too. The guy can run.
This year was a year for him where he just had to show that he could do more than. I mean, and you wouldn't think an NFL quarterback needed to show that he could run, because most of the time, if you're a running quarterback, you're going to get hurt very easily. And I mean, look at Joe Burrow, for example. 2 years ago, he gets hurt trying to run. And this year, you saw him throw a lot more. And I mean, led the team to a Super Bowl, to the Super Bowl game. But Sam, I mean, I haven't seen many quarterbacks as accurate as he is, besides the Hall of Famers. But it's just going to all depend on his development. I mean, it's a lot different when you got veterans in NFL running after you instead of college kids.
No, yeah, it's a different game for sure. And that's another thing about Hal's. Like, I mean, those scouts know more than we do. I mean, I don't know, but he's I guess he's not as suited for the NFL game as we think he is. Because I mean, in college, he was perfect college quarterback, and I mean, I don't know, he had perfect weapons last year. With what's your boy's name? Michael Carter and Devontae Williams from Wallace, North Carolina. Played in high school.
Wallace, yeah, you played against him. Played against him.
Yeah, he trucked me a few times.
Hey, that happens to the best of us. I mean, I didn't play football, but I mean, so that was my smartest move I probably ever made. Was just, I thought I was good playing backyard football growing up, but I made the smart business decision sticking to golf.
Hey, I mean, you could have been like Doug Flutie out there.
Yeah.
Undersized QB.
One Hall of Fame, one throw that made him a legend.
Certainly. Hey, Doug Flutie had a nice NFL career. People forget that. He was like the comeback player of the century.
But when you say Doug Flutie's name, you only think about one play.
Boston College. Yeah, I know what you mean. It was what, Orange Bowl?
Yes, against Miami. Yep.
80.
I couldn't tell you the exact
85, 80, late 80s, I think.
Yeah, it was definitely the 80s. So
you mentioned it, and we're gonna talk a lot about it. Mm-hmm. You're a manager. I'm a manager. You have a lot more experience than I do. You've been a manager for how many years now?
I was manager for every year I was in college, so 5.
5 years. I'm in my second year now. So
5 years, but hey, I had a blast.
Yeah. So I'm in my second year now at UNCW.
You're the head guy. You're the head guy now.
Pass me the torch.
Pass you the torch. I handed you the keys to the bus.
We're gonna do things differently this year, though. We're gonna be an elite group, unlike your squad.
I mean, I tried to, but hey, I mean, we survived.
We did. Well, I'll tell you what we did do. We built an amazing camaraderie, didn't we?
I agree. We
were buddies.
We might not have gotten to our goal perfectly. We might not have gotten to 10 exactly the way we wanted to, but it was
as good as it possibly could have been otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of bumps in the road, but man, that from it was fun the whole time, but December to
March
and April.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was awesome, man. I mean,
whole ride, yeah.
Tell us nothing. You could not tell us nothing.
Yeah, and like it was cool for like losers like me and you. Like some of these guys, like won stuff in high school. I never won anything.
Yeah, I didn't either. Shoot, I was a part of Campbell. We won about I can't remember exact record. It was over 500, but it wasn't great. Made a postseason tournament, won a couple games. Probably the most I won was at Cape Fear until
you guys won a conference championship, or what was the
Cape Fear? Cape Fear, we won our conference, Region 10. And then we won the conference championship, because in junior college it's the same thing. You got to win your conference tournament to make the postseason tournament.
Is it all automatic bids in junior college? The whole thing?
There's some what's the word I'm looking for? Like the bid, like gosh, I'll think of the word in a
At
minute.
large bid?
At large, there we go. At large bids, but they're like you have to lose like I mean it's just like NCAA. You have to lose like only 4 games because you're not playing that many games.
Yeah, I mean you have to be an elite squad.
Right.
How many teams? This is good insight right here, Spence, because I've never looked into like
Oh, and you
college
need
sports at
to.
all.
It's like I mean everybody knows junior college football because of Last Chance U, and I'm glad they started doing the basketball. But there are guys at junior college level that could definitely be at high major programs if something didn't happen to them along the way in high school, or they made one more better grade, or just anything in general. And that's what people don't understand. They think, oh, junior college, it's hey, this guy's a complete screw up, or like just don't think they have what it takes. And that may be the case, but a lot of them are very solid basketball players. I mean, we had guys on
Yeah.
our team. Our whole starting five went one couple. Sorry, went Division II, but JJ Miles went to ECU. Um, JV Milner went to Middle Tennessee State, and we
Who
had
we beat in the CBI championship. Thank you very
yeah.
much.
Well, he graduated the year before, so I don't uh, hang that on him. But I will say, since he's an alumni there, I meant to send him a text, but I don't really talk to him much. But I mean, you can't judge somebody just because they're not at Division I level yet, but they're just as good. I mean, just like Division II and Division III guys are.
Yeah, I've talked to several guys who played D2 football, and they said, I can't remember. I'm not going to name any names or teams because I can't really remember, to be honest with you. But they were saying, yeah, we could beat some small D1 teams. They're like, no question. Like there were some D1 teams that were scared to play us. Well, let me ask you this: like, is the stigma true? I mean, the majority of the guys there, or let's say the talented guys there, the ones that you think can play like D1 basketball, mid major, whatever. Is it because they can't make the grade, or I mean, are they all there because there was some issue in the
Yeah.
past?
Yes. Some issues in the past.
Does a guy ever just get overlooked, like, and he goes D2? I mean, I just find in
Yeah.
today's age, with that happens, really.
Yes, absolutely. I mean,
See,
you
I
got
just
to.
think that I don't see that like today, like in social media, and I mean everybody's got a tape, everybody's got a huddle. I couldn't see that happen. I feel like if a guy,
We had one or two guards. I mean, I'll take JJ Miles for example. He's from right down the road from me here at
Mhm.
Northampton County. I mean, literally, we played him in high school. He had the offers from Cincinnati, or not Cincinnati, but those American League schools. Like he had those offers, and one or two bad grades made him start at a JUCO, and he actually started at one of the best JUCOs in the country before he came to Cape Fear. So, and I mean, there's another kid we had. I'm not gonna name any names. Got in trouble. His grades were good. Had offers from Virginia Tech, all like that, and he just had that one baggage over his head, and it cost him that. But I know I saw some guys in the national tournament that were way better than some of the guards I saw at Division I level. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, Spencer, we're getting off topic here,
Okay.
and I know you have that problem.
Absolutely.
You're,
Hey,
you're
no,
80.
no.
Yeah, let's get that sponsorship in
Yeah,
really quick.
sponsorship, Mountain Dew. Come on the sponsors.
That's our goal with this podcast is to get that Mountain Dew sponsorship. That's when we know we've made it.
I get free Mountain Dews delivered to my office every day. That's when I know I've made it.
Well, you have an office now, so you're half the way there. See, it's small victories. It really is.
I gotta get our manager picture and put in my office.
Oh, got to. We can make that happen. I have manager pictures. I'll send you one. All you gotta do is print it out. Get a frame.
Yeah.
You can do that in Walmart in 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Okay, Spencer. Let's get down to brass tacks here. Let's get to business. What is a manager?
A servant.
A servant? But when you say servant, most people assume the worst, right?
Right.
Okay, so let's break it down. What's the day-to-day duties of a manager?
Day to day. It's a long day. It's a long
It
day,
is a
but it's
long
work.
day. I
It's
mean,
work.
sun up to sun down.
Wake up.
Look,
Go to
pause for a second. Literally, I just got a text from your boy Riley Coleman.
yeah. I still get that. I need to leave that group chat, but I don't want to because then I'll realize it's all over.
You're tenderhearted just like me. That's why I love you.
I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna get every text message. And
yeah, I just got that text from Riley. Laundry's done, and it's
laundry's
10:35 on a Thursday. Anyway,
What
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
So wake up in the morning. Depends on what kind of manager you are. If you were like us, you're that laundry that you put in at night and you really don't have much tomorrow. It's waiting until the next morning to get put up. But I mean, first thing you do is you got to stop by Bojangles. You got to have you a little good breakfast, man. You got to get through the day.
That's you, not me. I'm skipping breakfast most days, unless Dubs. Shout out to Dubs on campus, Warwick Center. If Dubs breakfast is open, I'm probably sliding over there and getting like that. I think it was the Nashville hot chicken. Ooh-wee. But yeah, you're Bojangles 4 times a day.
You got Cajun filet biscuit with some Bo Rounds on Mountain Dew at 9:00. You were starting off the day right.
That Mountain Dew will wake you right up on it.
Mountain Dew was my coffee, and I always had a backup.
Okay, so we're getting off topic again.
All right, we're
duties. You're up early. The point is is the time.
You're up early. You're up early.
You're up early.
You go in, you check with the coaches, see if they need anything right away. Go down to the locker room, make sure that's cleaned up, make sure stuff's not all over the floor.
First things first. What my first thing was always, you got to make sure that snack cabinet and the fridge is fully stocked.
That was like one of the last things I looked at.
Just that was my first thought.
Yeah. So, I mean, you hang the laundry up or whatever the night before or the next morning. But I mean, one of the things I like to do is I love being in the empty gym. So I'd always, after I'd walk down and walk back, I'd go through the gym. Nobody's usually in there at 9:00 unless somebody's getting shots up. But I mean, most of the time you'll know when somebody's getting shots up because you're getting asked to rebound or, say, hey, I'm about to rebound. Will you take me to class? Taking to class is the most important thing. If we learned anything this year, it was taking them to class.
Yeah, you learned that the hard way, didn't
you? Absolutely. But it's understandable.
Well, another thing, if I'm up early, it's typically because somebody's working out, and we were blessed, especially this year. We had a lot of guys who were in the gym every day putting in work. Somebody like Jalen Sims. I mean, he's up early every morning. He does not miss a day.
I had to do those 6 a.m. workouts once or twice, and I wasn't saying I was happy, but
well, you don't have to be happy. I mean, it's no secret. Like, you're doing things you don't want to do.
I was happy that I wasn't the one that had to be up at 6 a.m. like Jack was, but I would have loved to help out if I had to.
So you're rebounding. That's a lot throughout the day. But then, what a lot of people forget is we're students too. So you got to get to class.
Shoot, man, this last semester I don't know how y'all did it because the whole second semester was my internship only. I mean, it was basketball 24/7, and I mean, I literally did nothing for my last semester of college besides be a manager.
Must be nice.
It was. I thought about that the other day too. I said, I have not taken a single test in about 4 months. I have not cracked a book in about 4 months.
That's just gonna make.
That's the quality education of UNCW. Though.
That's just we're gonna get to that. But yeah, that's just gonna make me upset. Change the subject. Spence, what are some things people don't understand or don't know about being a manager? What are some of the lesser known things that we do behind the scenes?
Like, you asking like what makes it worth it, or like
no. I'm saying, like, what are just the the things we do that like nobody has a clue. Because when someone thinks of being a manager, like, oh, you wipe sweat off the floor, like
Yeah.
you're a water boy, and they don't understand like you're literally doing any and
You're
everything.
they have no clue how important we are. I mean,
And we say it as a joke, but literally no program runs without their managers. No successful one.
exactly. Who's washing the uniforms?
Yeah, so we're on the road, and I mean, that was always your thing. You're like, I remember there were times when we were setting alarms because there was never a perfect dryer ever in the hotels, and so we're like getting up in like 1 hour increments, going to check the laundry, having to dry it again.
We would take we would take naps when we were supposed to be sleeping. We would set our alarms for 2 or 3 hours later to go check the laundry.
Have to be up for shoot around the next morning
and
make sure all the guys get up out of bed.
Yep. It was
I'm thinking
nobody gets that part of it. Nobody gets the details of, hey, when we think about being at practices, all right, you're wiping sweat, you're getting water, all like that. It's a lot more to it than just that.
Well, hey, I was so surprised. Like, it really caught me off guard. Like how like we actually have to be a part of practice. Like we're in drill.
Oh man, we're setting screens, we're passing, we're rolling to the basket, or we're doing box out drills. Like I'd have never thought a small dude like me would be having to work on a box out drill with a Division I
pad blockouts.
Yeah.
Pad blockouts.
I mean, they're hitting you like bam, and
and these guys are a lot. I mean, and I'm not short. Yeah. But I mean, these guys are a lot bigger than me.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, they're telling you to calm down a lot of the times.
Yeah, you gotta hype me up on that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
hype me up a little bit. Tell the folks at home, tell our audience.
They start asking Coach, why's Caegan gotta hit me with the pad so hard? And
hey, your guy, you know what, Jack and I, and for the folks at home, for our home audience, Jack Mertens is one of our GAs. We were rebounding for Jalen Fornes and James Baker Jr. yesterday. And Jalen, I said, we got done, and I said, James, get your dunker spot. One last good time for me. I hit that baseline drive, give him that good pass, and Fornes said, "What are you gonna do for me one last time?" He said, "You want to hit me with the pad?" Yeah. And I was like, Fornes, like, come on, man. Like, I had a job to do. Like, you can't. Like, I'm sorry. I will not apologize for making.
They don't understand, man. We got to give 110% like they do.
Those dudes need to toughen up. I'm gonna call it like it is.
Yeah, they need. I mean, hey. But how many games down the stretch did we win because of a key box out?
Because of toughness. We were a tough team.
Exactly, we were.
We out tough teams. We really did.
We did. We might not have been the smartest team, but we were definitely one of the toughest teams.
No, but we take it for granted. We had some really smart dudes. I mean, like great students.
I mean, you got to think, man, this team was special, man.
They really were. And like you look at it now, like we had like a first team meeting, and I'm looking, and we have good dudes left. That's not saying we don't, but like I looked, and like there was only like 4 or 5 guys in there. I'm like, where did everybody go? Like it was so crazy to think about. Like they're all gone, and it made you realize like how special, especially like the group of seniors that we had. Like, and they'd been through everything together. A lot of losses.
A lot of losses. Gosh, a lot of losses.
I remember we we went on the street. We won how many in a row? 12.
12. Yeah.
New school record. And at the end of that, everybody was so happy, and Sims was in the locker room. He said, "I remember when we lost 12 in a row."
Yeah, those were some bad times, man. Man. Gosh, I remember that too. I'm sure me and Jack, man, we would sit in our hotel room some nights and just like, man, this is bad.
And I remember Jack saying, like, he said, honestly, it's sad to say, but losing was just kind of part of life. I was, like we just kind of got used to it. And he's like, that's so sad.
It was. I mean, last year, like we went on a streak there in December, and that's when I was like, all right, we're building something here. And then, COVID and all happened, but that happened to everybody. So
yeah. Spence, you have to, talking about things people don't understand, you have to make a lot of sacrifices as a manager.
You miss a lot of things that that you'd rather be doing. I mean, you'd rather be out partying with your buddies and friends. You'd rather be hanging out with girlfriend. girlfriend. Yeah, I don't
Big
have that
one.
problem. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of other things you'd rather be doing than rebounding for whoever at 10 o'clock at night. Um, there's probably another game you'd rather be watching, and you just got to realize that it's going to pay off in the long run.
Yeah.
And that's the sacrifice you have to be willing to make.
Well, I think, it's the same as, actually being like coaching or playing, there's a goal at the end of it.
Right.
For most managers, for managers who are locked in and, really like devoted to it, you're trying to become a coach or you're trying to get somewhere and, like this job, because this job, all it is really just an internship. I've said it a lot over the past few weeks. It's the greatest internship in the world. It really
I
is.
agree. I agree. I agree. We get, and me and you were saying in the CA tournament, the 3 games leading up to that, and the day of the championship game, we just kept saying to ourselves, "This is why we do this. This is why we do this. Like, this is the fun." Like, we were sitting there that day of the game, and we were just like, "Dude, this is awesome."
Schoolgirls.
Yes.
And like we play on a smaller stage, but I thought we were playing for the Super Bowl.
Exactly. That game, man, and me and you talked about it that night afterwards. We were like, it felt like every shot, everybody was like, what's like, is it
Oh,
gonna go in?
I
Is it
mean,
gonna
for
go in?
all the air left the room.
Yes, yes. And like, and me and like, I always said, when that ball went up for the tip off, all I could hear was the One Shining Moment song. The ball is tipped, and there you are. Like, I was like, this is the One Shining Moment part right here. I was like, this is it. And it just wasn't meant to be, but man,
That's kind of, even now it's hard to swallow. Like
yeah, I think about it a lot.
we were so good and so special. And we were what? We were a shot away.
I would say we were about 2 possessions away.
I mean, really. But the joy of victory and the agony of defeat. I mean, that's the way it
But
goes. That's life. And but we won the CBI and we went on a magical little run there in Daytona Beach, Florida.
exactly.
And beat some really good teams. Did you see the graphic that Fox Sports just put out? Middle
Yes.
Tennessee had a bigger win or not differential, but yeah, you know what I mean. Than we did. They won 21 games more than they did the previous season. And Towson, I think Towson won 21 more too.
Yep.
We beat both those teams.
Yep. I think Towson might have won 7 or 8 last year. I think they might have won one more game than we did last year, but it was, man, we were all right there together, and we played Towson twice, and it was a split series, and we all thought to see we were going to play in a championship game. We thought it was pretty set.
Man, the CAA was, I mean, I would say at the top, there were 4 or 5 really good teams.
Top 4, I mean, we all battled it out all year long.
And, we beat Delaware twice.
Yeah.
And thought we were going to get them a third time, man.
It's hard to beat a team.
Hard to beat them 3 times.
I never realized that until now. I was like, man, we beat them twice. I was like, I mean, who else did we beat twice? Well, we beat Charleston 3 times. We beat Elon.
Yeah, and we talked about that championship game and it not going our way, but like in the semifinal.
Yeah, that was a big call. Big call. Big call.
But also, big play made by James Baker too.
Big senior leader play.
It's my guy.
Yeah, that is your guy.
My dude. I still see him in the locker room every day, and he always has a smile on his face. He's always dapping me up. And Anna's over here.
I think that's Anna's guy. And James, if you're watching this, Anna has the biggest crush on you.
He knows. We talk about
it. Okay. I didn't know if you officially knew. Like fangirl 101. So I mean, hey, if you need a woman, and probably James is gonna probably go play somewhere. I don't know. Anna might still be with Caegan then. Who knows? I hope so. But I mean, hey, she's shaking her head, so you got some work to do.
Let's get off this subject. Let's change.
What? Daisy's over there.
I'm like, yeah, Daisy's asleep, and Bentley's looking at me.
Bentley's probably
wants to go outside. You want to go outside? Anyway, Spence, why do you think young men, and I guess women too, they're female managers. Why do young people become managers? Young college students. Like at the root of it, what needs does it serve? Why does someone become a manager? Because I've put a lot of thought into this. I'm interested in what your answer is to this.
The reason I became a manager, and my reason is probably a lot different than everybody else's, is because I, I mean, I love college basketball. I've always wanted to be a part of. I mean, you're part of a team. You're always around the guys. It's about the relationships you build. Like I could call every guy on our team right now, and if I needed something, more than likely most of them would do it. I mean, there's probably a couple that wouldn't, but I mean that's understandable. But like they're all, I call them my brothers. I mean, this team was special. Nobody was bigger than one another. I mean,
For
you
sure.
could have you could have uh took everybody, lined us all up, and they'd have been like, I mean, they're managers, but we get treated the same as players do. And that's one of the things I respected about our staff was, I mean, yeah, we're not the players, but we want to be treated just like they do. So why shouldn't we get held accountable like they do?
Man, we had an unbelievable staff. I mean, I haven't worked in other places, but I can't imagine it's that way at many other schools. I mean, just an unbelievable staff.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm gonna miss everybody, and I'll probably I don't know how many games I'll get to. I'm gonna try to get as many as possible. I'll definitely be at that first one in Chapel Hill though. Definitely be
That's
at
an
the first one.
upset waiting to happen.
I hope so, man. I'm gonna have some
I'm
teal on.
storming that court.
Yeah,
I'm spitting on that logo.
you were definitely getting an experience that I
I'm
wish
showing myself.
you got an experience. I'm jealous about that one. I am.
Hey, look, well, the teams I pull for don't typically win in that building. Not very often.
Well, I haven't ever pulled for against that team in blue, but might have to maybe pull.
It's just a win. Well, I say it's a win-win.
It's a win-win for me.
Yeah,
I mean,
you don't lose.
yeah,
I lose. You don't.
yeah.
It's gonna be tough to beat them though. They got a lot of. They're returning all their
Lot coming back.
firepower.
Lot coming back. So we'll see. We'll see though. It'll be interesting, man. It'll be interesting.
Spence, I think
I am taking UNCW to cover that spread though. I can talk about this now that I'm not a part. I am taking UNCW to cover the spread.
yeah, you can gamble now.
Yeah, yeah.
Spence, I think
Probably be
people.
broke by this time next year.
I'm trying to make a serious point here, and here you are talking about.
Come on, man. Let's do it.
You're talking about gambling, man. You don't even want to hear what I have to say.
Yes, I do. I'm all ears.
I think people become managers because, well, I think everybody wants to fit in. Well,
a lot of people do it for the wrong reasons, and that
and they typically doesn't last.
Yes, you know which ones do.
You can always see it. Yep. Mm-hmm. But I'm saying like the people that really get into it and want to get into coaching and things like that, I think there's something there. That kid wanted to fit in, just and they wanted to be like a star athlete or whatever. And for some reason, like whatever happened, you weren't what you always dreamed of being. And so like being a manager is like the greatest second chance you could have.
All right. You don't know how many times I walked into my high school at a game or in the years past wearing a UNCW hoodie, and I was like, I am a famous alumni now. Like I'm working.
Yeah, I thought about that too. I was like, man, I would love to go back to my high school and wear my gear, and people think, like, is he a coach?
I'm gonna be walking around. I'm gonna go to a lot of high school games when we get them rings, and I'm gonna be wearing them things.
I'm wearing mine everywhere.
I'll probably propose to my future wife if I ever get married in those rings.
You hear that, Anna?
Yeah, you are getting proposed. But then I'm gonna just go right back because
I think, and that's you make a good point about high school. It's like you want to be somebody. Everybody wants to be somebody, and I think being a manager like gives you an opportunity to be somebody. You get to be a part of something that very few people get to be a part of. You know what I mean?
And words of Travis Hackert. I know I've heard him say those words 2 or 3 times.
Well, my favorite Travis Hackert quote is, well, it's time of your life, or these are the moments. After we won the regular season at Delaware, we were in the locker room celebrating. He hugged me. He said, "These are the moments. These are the moments."
These are, man. That was
Lord, Spence.
Man.
Lord.
Yeah.
Jack and I were talking about it yesterday. We think that he did that to you just because he knew that you would like poop your pants. because he's
Oh man,
former manager. He knows like how dire of a situation that is.
I ran that board to Coach Siddle so many times.
How about when you lost when you had to go get the shoes?
Oh yeah,
Tell
the
that
shoes.
story.
Dude. Oh man, shoes, man. What game was that? That was like
that was a conference game for sure.
I think it was Elon at home.
Elon at home.
But
I think it was Elon.
Trey
White bust had
out of his shoe. Yeah, bust out of his shoe.
Cody Gluns runs after the shoes.
Yeah, well, Cody comes in after me, and I bolt to the locker room like,
That's right, because he had to have the white shoes.
Yes, and I'd already had a pair.
That's him. He had to have the white shoes.
And that man wore two different shoes the last.
Yeah, he would wear teal and white, which I respect. The man's dripped out. I mean, you got to give it to him. Ladies, man, we need to take notes from this guy.
I need something. But yeah, those are just like some. I mean, that's kind of easy thing to do. Like we've been asked to do a lot more difficult things.
Oh man, you're telling me. We could do a podcast just naming you know what I mean?
I'm trying to think of the
crazy things you've done.
I'm trying to think of like one of the weirdest things I may have done.
I'll tell you, I know mine, and this was early. I mean, this was last summer. I just really started, and I was deciding I was going to be locked in, whatever. And I had to drive a player to the airport, and I was, we have an airport in Wilmington, but for some reason he had to go to the airport in Myrtle Beach, which is a good hour and a half away from Wilmington.
If that, I mean, that's if you're driving a good speed.
Yeah, and I come to find out now, our GAs Jack and Tanner, they called and they're both trying to get me to do it, and they're they couldn't do it for whatever reason. And they're like, yeah, this is going to pay off for you in the long run. And in my head, I was like, wow, this is a big thing for me. I better do it. And then come to find out, like a year later, they told me this recently, that they went to the beach that day.
Yeah.
That's them. Yeah.
That's them. That is.
Yeah. And I can't stress enough how terrible my mode of transportation was at that time.
Shaggin' wagon. The old Christ.
Y'all
drive tomorrow? Huh? Or y'all Anna's car tomorrow? You
said what?
Is that what y'all or have you got that back yet?
No, we're gonna take Anna's car.
Oh, the old Camry.
He's got reliable transportation.
And he's buying my gas.
Oh,
not doing
that.
Yeah.
Are you gonna let him drive your car?
I'm a good driver.
If Carla's watching this,
she's got a bad whip.
She's driving.
Can you use your words?
Can I have water? Please. Yeah.
So where is this podcast going?
So had to drive a player to Myrtle Beach. Bad whip. You can never know when it's going to break down. It's got like 240,000 miles on it. And the worst part was it was in the dead heat of the summer. This was like August, and the AC hasn't worked for a good 2 years. Like the AC is just gone. It's done. As was just about everything else in that car. Like the radio doesn't work, and there's spare tires. I mean, and so the AC doesn't work, and it's about 100 degrees outside, and we've got all windows down, and this dude's just sweating profusely. I mean, it was so bad.
He probably was thinking, "What am I doing going to school here with this guy?"
Yeah, really. And there was one time I went to pick him up because I do it twice. Yeah, and I pick him up and I waited in line. It took forever to get in there at the airport, and I waited in line, and it was hot. I was sweating. It was so bad. And he gets in, he throws his luggage in, and he says, "Hey man, do you come over and get some Cinnabon really quick?" And I was like, "What? Like, what's another 5 minutes? What's another hour?"
Oh man, I'm
already gonna quit when I get back.
Things we do, man. How many times did you get to that point that you were like, "I'm so over this. I'm so done"?
I was never gonna quit, but it was just times I was like, "What am I doing right now?"
Exactly. I know I said that at least like 6 or 7 times. Like I never was gonna do it, like you said, but I was like, "What? Like, why are we doing this? Like, what are we doing?"
So you share a good memory with me. What's the best memory?
That's a lot. That's a hard question. It's got to be. I don't know. I really don't know. I would say all. I mean, I've learned something from every year. I mean, I'd say the relationships really were my best moments. I've met so many people, like coaches I've met, and they might not have even worked for us.
Yeah, that's the thing about you. Your story. I mean, you were in a lot of different programs,
A
so
lot
you
of different
met a
people.
lot of people.
A lot of people I never would have imagined I would be meeting.
Really,
Absolutely not. No.
I remember. We talked about Coach Hackett. I remember we were on the bus in Montana, and it had snowed a little bit, and there was like snow on the mountains, and it was cold. We were coming from practice, and he like walked to my seat on the bus. He's like, "Caegan, did you think if you're good day you'd be in Montana on
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, like washing dirty underwear?" I was like, Coach, never in a million years.
No.
We ended up getting sick, and we didn't play, and we had to eat Cracker Barrel, like catered Thanksgiving. That was our Thanksgiving meal. But it's like you said, these are the moments. That's what we look back on.
They are. You're right. I'm trying to see if Sam Howell's gotten taken yet. I don't think so.
And he's a second rounder,
I think
so you don't have to look at it.
You think he's a second rounder, huh?
Yeah, he's early second round for sure. Spence, what's the hardest part of being a manager?
Hardest part. Oh, Kenny Pickett went to Pittsburgh. Oh, that's a hometown kid.
Wow.
Hometown kid. Hometown kid.
In the same apartment.
That's crazy. Wait, what was your question? I'm sorry.
What's the hardest part?
Hardest part.
If you're logged in and back with us now.
I mean, do you want a responsible answer, or do you want a?
Somebody keeps getting mail.
It's me.
We need to shut the mail down. We're having a serious podcast here.
I'm a working man now. I can't help it.
Hardest part. Yeah, I want your honest answer.
I mean, I'd say being a student's one of them. I mean, because once you get going, man, you're like, this is my life now. And once somebody asks you to rebound, it's kind of hard to say no. Yep. So you have a test due at midnight, and it's, you wait till the last minute like I do, and it's 10 o'clock and you're starting an exam. You're like, I got to rebound. But then you're like, I got to do this test. So I would say that. And the hardest thing is probably the holding yourself accountable, because you like we said, it's a lot of things we could be doing, but it's worth it. It is. It's absolutely worth it in the end, and you just got to make it 3 or 4 years.
Did any of did you ever feel stressed about having to do like drills or anything? Like, did that ever bother you?
I wouldn't say I was stressed about the drills really, because I mean I'd been doing it every year, but I would say more of like the jerseys. Like, you have no idea how many times it went through my head, or probably yours too. Did we forget something?
Man, that's something we haven't even talked about, is forgetting things. Like, you can't enjoy. I thought when we were going to get on the plane and get to travel, like, and go stay at these nice hotels, like it was a vacation. You can't enjoy the bus ride. You can't enjoy the plane, because the whole time you're sitting there, and sometimes it's these 2-hour long rides, and you're like, what did we forget? You can't enjoy it at all. You're in your head.
And the thing is, you can count it 10 times before you leave.
Never good enough. Never.
And I'm gonna count it again right as soon as we get to wherever we're going. And then when I make the game looks like I do the night before, I would be worried the whole night. I'd be sleeping. I'm like, did I forget something? And I'm just counting them 10 minutes ago. Then I'd wake up the next morning and worry about it all over again.
And that's why we bring extra shoes and extra socks and extra leggings. I mean, extra. And it ended up happening, man. How many times there down the stretch did we have a practice shorts
rip, man? That I'm glad, that had to be a blessing from above, that we did not wash a jersey or anything and it get ripped, but only practice jerseys got ripped. And I will say to this day, out of everything we were responsible for this year, the jerseys and everything like that, nothing messed up. Like, we didn't ever forget one jersey.
That's
Don't
true.
forget.
I can't believe we never had to use a blood jersey, or did we?
I think we had to get it a couple times, but we never used it. The closest we came was against Towson at Towson. That was a
What
long
was
run.
Shy?
Yeah,
Boy,
that was a
your
long
son.
run back to the locker room.
Yeah, because anybody who's ever been to Towson, that
that's a
that
hike.
walk, it's a hike. You go all the way behind,
Yeah.
like the bench and the stands and all that, and then you go up
Coach
like
Zito and myself,
stairs.
when I made those walks with him right before the game, and he would leave no earlier than 3 minutes on the clock. I bet we left that with 3 minutes and 20 seconds because he was worried about he wasn't going to make it down there in time. Like I'm not lying to you. He sprinted for a little bit. I was like, hey, I'm almost out of breath, coach, and we're not even halfway down the hallway. I was like, you got to coach a game. I mean, hey, but that man, and he's something else. He's something else.
You are something else. Spence, what's the most rewarding part of being a manager? I've asked you what was the hardest, now what's the most rewarding?
Man, these last couple of days, people that I've put up as references, like how, man, just like you put them down as references and you don't think they're gonna call, but they actually do call your references. And the nice thing, I mean, I swear I didn't pay him, but I mean, you could say, but like when this guy called Hunter and Craig, like the things that they say about you at the end when you're done, like it's rewarding that all your hard work.
It's nice. I mean, it's nice to be appreciated.
Somebody you respect.
Exactly.
Like they know what you've been through. Like look at Craig, for example. Man, Craig played at UNCW. He was a great player. He accomplished big things, made the tournament, and he talked to us about how close he was with the managers of his teams. But like that dude's a UNCW legend. And I mean we worked out Devontae a couple times this year, and the respect, like I mean nobody really talks about UNCW family, but like we're associated with UNCW just as much as the players are, and I 100% agree with that.
That's a bold claim, but I want to believe that's true.
I mean, you think like I mean, obviously the players are more like they're the ones that make it happen. Yes, I 100% agree with that. But I mean, like you said, the team doesn't run without successful managers.
Does not.
It doesn't. And like I said, just the nice things you hear about yourself, about how hard you've worked, how dedicated you were. And I called both of them today and yesterday, and I thanked them and all like that. And just like what they say about you, like that's the most rewarding part. And I know I could call on anybody, on any staff that I've worked with, players, anything, and they know they can call me at any point, and I can do whatever I can for them. Because I mean, I love them all like brothers. I mean, I mean, I don't want to say this, but it's a brotherhood.
It is. No doubt about it.
It's a fraternity. The fraternity of college basketball.
It is a fraternity. Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think definitely I see what you mean.
Yeah, so I mean,
go ahead.
Now let's go to you for a little bit. What do you mean you got some things different for this year? What's in store? I want to see more social media stuff.
Well, I'm putting my boy Jordan Rose on it, and he's gonna have to be locked in because he's the superstar. He's the rapper. He'll be famous one day. It's like our boy Jack Merton says. I want him to give me one of these. Give me that club one night. That's when I know I've made it. When Jordan Rose, when someone has to open up that rope for me at the club.
You better remember old Spenser. That's all I gotta say.
We're going in there together, man. We're gonna be at his concert one day. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna. I want him to be on social media. I'm gonna try to do some things different. I mean, main thing is I'm gonna stay on them. Like I want us to be elite. Like I want us to have very, very few mistakes. But I sent him a long text the other day just about things I want us to do and blah 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 and things to stay locked in on. And the last thing I said was I wanted us to have some team building. Just spend more time together outside of the office. just for us to hang out.
I better play more manager games. I'm kind of upset with y'all.
Well, we're recruiting right now. We're working on it. Hopefully, we'll have more guys. Because I don't want to have to play. I'll coach the managers.
Yeah.
They don't need me to slow us down. But like our boy Hunter Henderson invited everybody over for dinner. About 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that's back to the rewarding thing. It's just the relationships you build. And I mean, we just sat there for hours and just laughed, and we almost cried thinking about some of the tougher times. But yeah, we just laughed. I mean, just thinking about how good of a time we all had. But I want to keep that going. And there are new guys coming in. I want them to be a part of that because that's special. It really is what we have.
It is, and I want y'all to have fun. Like we had fun this year, but it was just we were all just it was such a different feeling this year. Like we were winning, I was so superstitious. I was worried about doing something that was gonna ruin everything.
You and Tanner Benton, TP Benton.
Man, I was so superstitious. I had the same amount of pins in my pocket for every game.
You guys had to switch the board.
I had to switch the board, me and Tanner. And there were some times when we had to wear those masks. I would make sure when we were on offense, the mask was up over the nose. We were on defense, the mask was down. If I had to get on one knee and have the hand here or something, it was going to happen. I was going to make sure we were going to win that game.
I gave up on that stuff, but but it was in the back of my mind.
Now that I'm out of it, and I'm not going to be 110% invested in it, and I'm not going to do that. It's too much.
What's the greatest lesson you learned? What are some of the greatest lessons you've learned being a manager?
Some of the greatest lessons. I mean, you can't treat anybody like different, no matter what their position is. They're all important. You're there for a reason. Be yourself, because they're not going to like you. No, nobody's going to like you if you're not yourself. I mean, shoot, when I first got there, or when I first started, I was a fanboy, and I'm sure you were too.
I had my fanboy moment.
Yes, like the first practice, you're like, man, these guys are great. Like they don't miss. I mean, it's just crazy. But I learned a lot of lessons, really. So many to choose from. I'll just say be yourself. I mean, just be you. Be you.
You talk about fanboy moments. Last summer, you weren't here, but I know you heard about it. The guys clowned me about it pretty hard. Former NC State sharpshooter Scott Wood was in there early one. I mean, I got there like 7, and he was wrapping up.
I saw you post on Instagram about that.
He probably was there at 6 o'clock. Respect it. The guy's still putting in work. He's still getting his shots up. And I walk in, I was like, that's Scott Wood. I had to look at him for a second. And 12-year-old me was just like, so giddy.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm not going to take this opportunity to not talk to him. I went up and I introduced myself, and I said, I'm sorry, can we please get a picture? And he was so nice about it. And I asked him about his podcast, and everything was great. That was like my hero when I was younger. And I modeled my shot after that dude when I was like 11 years old. But then after that, like for the next for the rest of the season, everybody was just clowning me about how I was a fanboy.
You should have got his number, man. I know Hunt's probably got it.
Yeah, I know Hunter Henderson. He definitely has his number.
Yeah, he definitely does. And Hunt just acts like he doesn't know anybody. That man knows everybody.
Well, and he acts like we're crazy when he's best friends with Derek Wittenberg.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to act like that's not a big deal.
That's like saying I'm going to be best friends with Michael Jordan. I mean, Derek Wittenberg's got.
No, let's.
Okay.
I understand they both won a national championship, but let's even that up a little bit. Maybe Sam Perkins. How about that?
That's the most random Carolina basketball player I've ever heard.
He was on that 82 team, was he not?
But if I'm saying, he or 1982 Carolina team, I'm thinking either Michael Jordan or James Worthy.
Okay. Well, who's a better comparison to Derek Whitworth at UNC?
I mean, Derek Wittenberg had the most famous shot in state history. So I would say, I mean, you could say, gosh, he didn't win it all though.
Paige,
Yeah.
do you even want to bring that up?
Sure, we won it the next year. I'm fine with it.
Redemption. They're gonna do it this year. They're gonna do it again.
And I would love to go back.
They're not winning that first one.
Where's it at this year? Houston, I think.
That's a good question.
We're gonna go this year. We're gonna go. I'm gonna take a week off and we'll go.
Hey, sign me up. Greatest lessons learned.
You just asked me that.
I know, and you said
I said be yourself.
that's a terrible answer.
How is that a
awful
terrible
answer? What's some like what I'm talking? What are some skills, tools you gained, things that you're going to carry with you now that you're moving into the next chapter of your life. I mean, you're going into your professional career.
Yeah, but
I'm saying, like, what things did you? I'm not talking about this sappy stuff anymore. Like, what tools did you gain that are going to help you in the workspace? Because we talk about Coach Hacker a lot.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, I learned to be more organized. I mean, I'm not the most organized person in the world. You know that. You've been to my apartment, but
in your apartment. And let the record show you had to pay my girlfriend to clean it, and you're lazy. And whoever hired you should fire you because you're lazy. I hope they're hearing this.
I am. No, they're not. I'm not lazy. I'm lazy when it comes to certain things. Yeah, but yes. Some skills. I mean, just always work hard.
Always work hard.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes, man. You're gonna mess up.
That's a good one.
You're gonna mess up. You're gonna do something in a drill, and you will too.
You're gonna get yelled at.
You're gonna get yelled at. It's all about how you respond.
There you go. That's good. I think we talked about Coach Hacker and all the things he taught us. One of the things I remember is you do it right the first time. If you mess up, you start over and you do it right. When you're working on a project or whatever it is, you do it right the first time.
Yeah.
You put 100% in.
Exactly.
And that's part of being a manager. You put in 100% every time.
You do. You better.
And feel the school of feel. Can you explain what feel is?
Knowing when or not when to do something.
Situational awareness.
Yeah, you have to know. If you just lost by 30, you better not. Just don't say nothing at all.
Don't speak.
Get on the bus.
If you're not wanted in a room, walk out. If you feel unwanted in a room, walk out.
When you get beat by 30, you just sit on the bus, eat your Mission barbecue, and
you go to the room.
I mean, it's getting a zone, man. It's getting a zone.
Yep.
That 6-hour bus ride from Jacksonville, Florida, won't no joke.
Spence, I know you've got an early morning tomorrow.
At 8 a.m.
So I want to wrap this thing up.
About 7's gonna come early. I gotta get a good biscuit in tomorrow. It's Friday.
Yeah, that's gonna wake you up for sure. Spence, can you give me very quickly what's your horror story as a manager?
Wow, horror story as a manager. Either forgetting Jake Boggs' shoes at Norfolk State.
But that wasn't even bad. That didn't turn out bad because
turned out very good.
Didn't he end up hitting the game winner?
Yep. Let me think. I would say, I mean, obviously, I don't want to say that. I mean, to be honest, I haven't really had any. Like, I mean, if you really think about it, I haven't really
Excuse me. Well, I do.
Well, what's yours? The Pittsburgh thing?
I forget that you were a perfect manager, and I had.
I wasn't perfect. I wasn't perfect. I made a lot of mistakes.
The two that, I say the three. There were three that stick out. The one early on, I think it was my first real road trip. Forget to wash the uniforms. I had to run suicides at Pittsburgh. That was terrible. We messed up a few drills and got yelled at, and
I don't consider that bad.
Mine's
probably.
Say what?
I said I got one now, but it's not really bad. It's more of a just like you heard it before, but Coach Sittle's first week back in Wilmington.
Oh yeah, I heard about it the other day.
Me and Jack were trying to have this great start. The first or second drill we ever get introduced to, we messed it up. Don't have the basketballs in the right place. We had basketballs flying all over Trask Coliseum trying to get them. I mean, we're throwing them like baseballs around there while the drill's going on, over Sittle's head, over everybody else's head. I mean, we just got it looks like it's there a circus in there, and the drill just stops, and we're just like, oh boy, here we go. Who's responsible for all this? And we're like, who takes responsibility for this? Like, this is somebody's about to get yelled at. And, me being me, I took responsibility, but he made all of us run. And then that week, that Friday, I thought we were off on Friday. We'd worked out. 7 a.m. rolls around on a Friday, and my phone starts ringing. I'm knocked out, man. I'm just like, what? Because they were doing 6 a.m. workouts, and it was Craig, and he's like, hey man, where y'all at? I'm like, what you talking about, man? We're off today, right? He goes, no, we got a workout at 7:30. I said, what? I said, I was like, this ain't no funny joke, man. Like, this is y'all's first week back. I'm trying to be like almost perfect. I was like, and don't play with me. He's like, no, I'm serious. Like, can you get here quick? I'm like, yeah, I'll be right there. I'm calling Jack. I'm like doesn't answer 5 times. This man sees it. He comes into the afternoon for the afternoon workouts because we were doing 2 days. And he says, yeah, I saw you and called me 7 times earlier, but I figured there was no way I was going to make it in time, so I just didn't show up. I was the only manager at that workout for that whole morning. Then it was 2.
Wait, so did you end up getting in trouble that day, or did they just let it slide?
I don't think Siddle realized it. I was the only manager there. I was there by 7:30. And I was flying from Progress to Wilmington. I probably ran. My mom, I hope she's asleep by now. But I probably ran 4 stoplights. If I could look both ways and I saw there was no car coming, I was going. And I went around the turn where the Seahawks statue is at a good 35 miles an hour. Didn't stop. I don't know how my car did not flip. And I pulled in that parking lot on 2 wheels, jumped out. I don't think I locked my car or nothing. No, I didn't shower. I think I showered at Trash that day because I had a class at like 10.
There was also, they were talking about messing up drills. That was like the day that they threw me into Seahawk layups, and I never really had paid attention to it, and I didn't know what was going on, and just completely ruined the drill. And everybody's like screaming and yelling at me, and I was, just ready to roll into a ball and just cry myself to sleep at that point. And I think Coach, he made me run at the end of practice for that too. But the one I never forget is when we had just beaten Towson. It was a great game in overtime. It was awesome, and we had to order pizzas, and we messed it up, and we ordered like $15 pizzas or something like that. We were trying to get a discount, and we messed it up, and we were running in like the 20-degree weather trying to get Domino's, and we ended up running to the wrong one, and it was so bad.
Could have killed you that night. It was freezing outside. I'm
glad
we won.
If we hadn't won, it would have really been bad. That's what they say, though. Winning cures all, doesn't it?
Winning does. So what's our plan with this podcast, man?
We're gonna keep moving forward. Is what we're gonna do, and we're gonna grow it, and we're gonna become famous, and then we're gonna blow up and act like we don't know anybody, and just retire on some private island.
Is this being posted like anywhere?
Yeah. We're probably gonna do. I'm trying to get on Spotify. I'm gonna do what's the thing you have to purchase a hosting service. I'm gonna get in all that. Don't worry about that. I'm gonna take care of it. You just be your beautiful.
I'll just show up when I'm supposed to show up.
You got a gift, man. The gift of gab. I'll do all the nerdy technical stuff. You just show up and be beautiful, man.
All right.
I think. How about we gotta have a name too. I'm thinking for a name. Wiping the floor with Caegan and with Caegan Jackson Spenser. Wiping the floor.
I like that.
It's a work in progress, folks.
Yeah.
Spence, it's been wonderful talking to you.
Yeah, man. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. You will see me tomorrow. It's been a long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, it's been let's see, when did I take that photo? April 14th. It's almost been 2 weeks exactly.
Mm-mm-mm.
3. I don't know.
Too long.
Yeah, man. See, look, there's the last picture. I don't know if you see it. That's
That one cut me really deep. That hurt me a little bit.
yeah, it hurt me. Almost tears went through my eyes. Hey, man, look at this photo though. I don't know if y'all can see it. This needs to be our logo. That needs to be our
That's
logo.
hanging up at the Louvre, by the way.
That's
Ann and I just took
uh,
our little trip to DC, and the last thing we did was we went to the National Art Museum, Gallery of Art, whatever it's called, and that was hanging up there.
That's
As
what
it
it's all
should
about.
be.
That's
Yeah,
all
I want
about.
that's gonna be in the slideshow at my funeral. Make sure whoever's in charge knows that.
Absolutely.
Spenser,
Gotcha.
it's been great. Hopefully this turns into something
Yes, sir. Let's make
special.
it big. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Well, signing off for the first time ever. Hopefully, we'll have many more of these. This is Caegan Jackson and Spenser Hargrove. Big thanks to our to my sidekick, our sound engineer, Anna Grace Sutton.
Why'd you give my
There's
full
12. AG Sutton 12. Go follow her country playlist, Country Bob.
1, 2,
Country Bob.
1, 2.
Country Bob. That is my go-to country playlist now.
It's so good, is it not?
It is. It is.
So good.
Okay, well, until next time, this has been Caegan Jackson and say your name.
Michael.
Michael. All right, later.
Michael. Let up.